Okay, so I would like to talk about this game for a minute here because this has been on my mind. Because this game in particular is being talked about a lot in the community right now. As an example of a Zerg being incredibly greedy and just playing a macro build and not scouting an all in and still somehow surviving the all in. And I think that narrative is incorrect. I think it's very obvious if you look at this game that that's not actually what's happening here. Bothering me a little bit that people are saying that that's what's happening. So let's look at the game. So first, you have it 3 minutes here. You can see creator is opening Stargate. So already we're seeing that this is not actually a charge all in, because he's opening Stargate right here. If it was a charge all in, it'd be Twilight Robo opener, and then he'd be going straight to 8 gates. You know, maybe he gets +1 if he wants to do that version, right? It'd be that kind of thing. Totally different build. The reason why it's different is because this version hits much, much later. So it's not really an all in. And also, you should be getting a third base because you're opening Stargate. However, if we look at this build here, we can see he opens with a Phoenix right here. Not a Void Ray, not an Oracle. And because of that, he's unable to defend a third base. And we can see if we skip forward a bit here, there should be a little bit of Ling harass. We can see right about now, you can see that group of Lings coming in. You can see the probe being tried to sent out, and Serral is getting on top of that. You can see on the minimap right there. And no third base. Now he's going for charge, and he would like to have a third base, but he does not have a third base. Now, if we go a little bit forward here, we can see Serral's getting the Roach Warren here. Prism's on the way, and charge is about halfway done. However, if this was the version of the build that went straight to charge, it'd be much different. Because we can see here, right about 5 minutes, charge is not quite done, the Prism just finished. If it was the actual charge all in, then he would be showing up at 5 minutes and he'd be warping in Zealots right now. But instead of that, we can see that Serral has much more time to make some roaches here. And you can see that right when the Roach Warren finishes. Right here. Couple seconds. There we are. Immediately queues up a bunch of roaches, and you can see that roach count will keep increasing. And this bar should be showing us the first roach production. We can see that number will keep increasing here. And before creator actually makes it to his base, because we can see he's also warping in at a distance over here. Serral has made something like 10 roaches at this point. And most of them are finished. And he's starting to finish his second round of roaches right now, basically. And there is the first Zealot swipe, right at 5:49. So we're almost 49 seconds later than what the build would have been if it was actually an all-in. And to make matters worse, he does not have a third base. Because he opened with a Phoenix, so he wasn't able to defend with an Oracle or a Void Ray. And it wasn't able to get batteries up or anything like that. So when I look at this game, I personally do not see anything close to how people are portraying this game. I see people describing this as Serral being completely blind and playing very greedy, and you can just see very obviously that's not the case. There's no fourth base. If this was a macro build, 540, you want that fourth base as a Zerg in ZVP. So there's really no reason for him not to have a fourth base here, unless he was aware of the fact that there was a charge attack coming. And we can see that, indeed, he does have a bunch of roaches ready. When these Zealots come in, they go for this Queen right here. There's some nice, worker micro and stuff here, but he does get the Queen. But then, he pulls back here, goes for this army over here. That was a lot of distance right there. And in the meantime, of course, Serral is making roaches. And this Roach Warren right here could have killed that instead of the Queen. and then that would pretty much be GG. Yeah, from here we can see there's a lot of, microing back and forth, which just gives Serral more time. I understand why he's doing this, by the way. That was a bad surface area for the Zealots. He's pulling back to try to draw the units out so that he can get a better wraparound and warp in some more units. That'll make sense and everything, but the fact of the matter is that that does give Serral more time to make roaches, and that allows this fight to continue. And then eventually we'll see the Prism take some damage and does get taken out. But regardless, my point being that this is nowhere close to how people are portraying it. Serral was not playing greedy. This was not a completely dedicated all-in. It was just sort of a worst of both worlds build, where he tried to open with a macro opener so he could get a fast third base, wasn't able to secure the third base because he didn't have an Oracle or a Void Ray. Then he goes into a charge attack, but the charge attack is very delayed because he went for that a Stargate opener, and then Serral has much more time to prepare. To put this in perspective here, a Zerg macro cycle is 30 seconds. You get 6 larvae per hatchery. He has 3 hatcheries here. So that's what, 36 extra larvae that he has to defend with. It's a pretty significant difference from what people are saying happened in this game. It just bothers me seeing the inconsistency between what actually happened in the game and what people are saying happened in the game. Anyway, I hope this didn't trigger too many people or anything. I'm not trying to start like a huge argument, but this did bother me, so I had to say something.